All rise.
I forgot the prayer.
If we all may bow our heads, just ask for God to watch over us here as we make these decisions for the years 28 and 29. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of preparing accurate written minutes. Recordings are overwritten following approval of the minutes, eliminating all unofficial records of these proceedings.
Are there any guests here this evening? I know we do have 3 elected officials with us in reference to the agenda before us this evening. Questions, comments?
I'll go. So I submitted some documentation. Did everybody get a chance to review that?
Yes.
So just to point out 4 separate sections that I referenced. I only focused on research that I did for the sheriff's office because I didn't think it was fair to do that for any other elected official because their offices are different. So just real quick, the first one, I compared the percentage increases from 23 till 2027 and compared them to the collective bargaining units just in the office, in the sheriff's office. And, you know, that showed a more or higher percentage increase. So I think it's only fair that the elected officials receive equal to or higher than that of their collective bargaining units in their offices. I also compared the local police chief salaries. As you can see, all those listed there. The closest position to sheriff is a chief of police, and we have the largest police force in the county, very well equipped, very well trained, yet the salary is significantly lower than all of the chiefs throughout the county. I also compared the salaries of other Class 6 county sheriffs. That is listed there as well. And then my last point there, the role of the sheriff and how diverse it is in all of the many facets and functions we perform. I would just ask that the Board of Commissioners takes that into consideration when they are setting these rates, for those to be the highest possible increases to bring that salary up commensurate with the job that we do.
Thank you, Sheriff. Anything else? The only thing I would state here is I provided everyone a list here, and you all see, and thank you to Commissioner Notstein to be able to get us all the way back to 1999 of a list of the average increase. It should be noted, for the benefit of the public, is the highest over that 27-year period given out was 4.5% raise back in 1999. Then the following 2 years there was a 3.5, 3.5. Those were probably the 3 highest raises given out in the 27-year history that Commissioner Notstein was able to provide us. I'd also like to note that in 2006, 2014, 2015, there were no raises given out to any elected officials. So that should be noted. And in the years of 2007, 2016, and 2024, it was 1%. So kind of gives you a little breakout. If you do that number, that math across the board, the average, with all of that said, on those 20, if you take the 27 years, the average falls in around 2%, is what the average raise given out to elected officials has been. We are aware that all of the union contracts have kind of finished up. They have come in around 2.9 to 3%. That's where their raises are at, about 3%. And that's kind of where the county was looking at with would raise, you know, at the 3% number. We did call around to some other counties, kind of, you know, how they handle it. Took some advice from there. We also got some breakdowns from CCAP as to how they're set. It varies greatly. It does. I mean, you can get online and you can find numbers that are staggering, and then you go and you find out they're not there. But that's where I'm at with it. There is some proposals before us here this evening. I don't know if any of my two Fellow commissioners have anything to say?
Are you looking for a motion?
Are there any other comments by the other elected officials? No comment?
And I don't know what you guys think, but I mean, 2028 to me should definitely be 3%. 29, I'm not sure. Do we wanna go to 3 or 2%? I think whatever you guys think, or, I know our scale, that we have is currently on 2.5. So do we wanna go 3, 2.5? I mean, I know we have this here, but 3 and 2.5 for 29, to stay with the scale. Or if you just wanna, it's up to you guys.
I'm open to, listening. I mean, I'm okay with the 3%, because that's where I've tried to establish everybody to be at 3%. It's fair, that's what, when you look at cost of livings, when you look at, you know, what comes out of, everybody's kinda, I get upset when you get to those 4.5, 5, 6, 7, and 10% raises, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, 3.5, I always think is, 3, I always feel is fair. But I mean, 2029, I mean, I'm open to suggestions on that too, so if, whatever.
Well, I can make the motion for 3 on both years. And that would be the 8 full-time positions and 1 part-time.
Okay, anything else?
You're saying because of, keeping the part-time corner,
Well,
is that your motion?
I think if the coroner would go full-time, I think that's a different process. And if the coroner would go full-time, you would think they would fall in line with what everybody else, so why do we have to project out this coroner's salary right now?
We had checked with the solicitor on that, and that was the only way we could do it. We couldn't do it before. I think it should be full-time now because of the amount of,
Yeah, and I agree, I agree with that, I think I had a discussion about that today, but I think we have to have the structure what the coroner is gonna have. I mean, we don't know if it's gonna be, the coroner, a deputy, 2 other deputies, what's it gonna be? I mean, right now they have a bunch of part-time, so we have to have, a structure for the coroner in the first place. I mean, you just can't say, well, we're gonna give them $74,000 and we don't know what, you know, what the job is gonna, you know, be. And like I said, I see things, if it's a full-time coroner, it can work out, but it can't have 5, 6 people in that department.
the issue is that's not a decision we can make here. It's the salary board issue then. And basically you got 4 years to figure that out. You know, there has been a request by the coroner for the first deputy because of the amount of time. You know, and most of the,
I
I
think,
don't know if I should go parliamentary procedure since we didn't have a second to the motion.
well, where we're at is, we can, I think you need to discuss it. I think that, I think we all agree that the coroner's position, because of the amount of workload and because of the amount of paperwork and administrative duties and the time that he has been putting in the increase, that position, in order to continue to grow, it does need to be made into what would be considered a full-time coroner. I don't think we disagree on that. But how do we get there? Because I know by code, you have to set the salary before the election, so that if anyone's interested, they know what the job is and what it entails. So we do have to do that. That does have to be
That
done.
would be, I agree with you, Rocky, as far as the amount of people, but that's a salary board issue down the road, you know, that's the problem. Unless
And
that,
you would think if it would, like if we would, over the next 2, 3 years, if we would have the information and turn it over to full-time, like I said, it should go, I mean, if everybody's making 76, well, it's gonna be a little bit higher than that now, because
So I see what you're saying, is if we did that, we could get that all set up and then come in, can we, is there a way you can do that, do you know, Ellie?
Cause if
Well,
I,
you can actually recess this meeting, but this has to be done before December 31st, 2024.
Yeah,
There's no question. It has to be done then. You have to have your year set of 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028. They have to be set
and what date do we have till then?
December 31st of this year.
you're saying you would.
I mean, I'd like to just see some structure how it is, because, like I said, we don't need, I mean, we're cutting people, you know, like we're taking part-time and making full-time positions to make, you know, to save money. And maybe, you know, like even the sheriff's department, we've been doing that to make it a little bit better. And I just don't need a department that we're gonna come in and it's gonna be a full-time position, and then we still have 5 deputies that can work for the excess amount of money. You know what I mean? So we're not really helping the position. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that somebody has to be here, and yeah, a deputy, you know, you should have a deputy, cause you can't do
Yeah,
it
yeah.
24/7.
Okay, so what you're looking for is if we tabled this until before with the motion, table it, and then get the structure from the coroner,
Yeah,
present it to us, and then come back in and vote on it.
Correct. But I have no problem
But
with
we
that.
can't speak for the commissioners 4 years from now.
No,
Making a decision for when this goes full-time in 3 years, basically.
but I do see what he's saying, that he's no problem with making that a full-time position, but in doing so, what would be the new structure of the office
Yeah,
in order to accomplish that? And that is there any way we can motion to take care of these with the exception of that one and come back in before December
I
30th?
wouldn't,
no,
I wouldn't. I would
No.
hold the whole thing until you can make a decision on what you're going to do with the coroner.
But if you would accept them all, and like I'm saying, if they would go through the whole process and have it created as a full-time job, that salary should go to the 76,000, not the 39 or 36. You would think it automatically would go there. If you would take,
Yeah.
if you would take, that's what I'm saying, so.
yeah, I agree with
Remember,
that, yeah.
there's-
It would be the
I
same as the
created
other role.
2 drafts.
Right.
One is a part-time, one is a full-time.
Mhm.
Okay, the full-time lists the rate the same as every other elected official,
Correct.
okay?
That's the way it should be, in my opinion.
But
Should
is
be
the
the same.
structure gonna fit us? That's what I'm saying. And I'm going back to it again, if we okay it, then we have 6 people in that department where we might only need 3.
Well, the thing
But,
is,
and we've been cutting everybody else and trying to whittle things out here.
right,
And I need to see structure. I need to see the department, that how it's gonna
your
operate.
anticipated structure for 2028,
Correct,
if the position becomes full-time,
correct. I think that's fair.
okay? Okay, so do we have that in a form of a motion?
Well, we do have one motion on the table that has died to
That
lack
has
of,
died for
to
lack of a second, yeah.
But are we gonna still, are we thinking about still going with the 3 and 3, or?
Do we need, well, I'll go with the 3 and the 2.5. Is there your, well,
Okay, okay, since we're not prepared to do a scale yet,
right.
and I would say we table it all
table the whole thing.
and come back in here with we kinda know where we're at with the salary, 3 and 2.5. And then we get a structure from the coroner for that position.
Okay.
And then we go from there. So I will make a motion that we table this until we get table this and it gets addressed before December 31st, 2024. And we come back in with a new pay structure of 3 and 2.5, along with a structure from the coroner's office as to what it would look like if the position was made full-time.
I think before the end of the month, if at all possible.
Yeah, I don't think we have to wait till December 31st.
I'm just giving us that we have
Before
till,
the end of the month?
it's not gonna happen.
Today
That's
is,
fine.
today is October.
Before the end of November. I'm not coming back tomorrow night.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna stay with December 31st.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because the coroner, one of the
Enough
reasons.
time to
Yeah,
get-
it's enough time, I don't wanna rush this.
All right, I'll second that table.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Hilton?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. I'm sure we'll see you again. You kinda know where we're at.
Kind of know where we're at, probably. They don't know where.